I think we're just on the verge of a scientific revolution in advertising. Now, many people in the room may say, yawn, we've heard this before. But I do think it's true. I think we're seeing a world where computers are making better decisions about where and how to advertise than people can. We have evidence of this every day. We see brands questioning the impact of digital, but they're also questioning the impact of television. This is a moment when all content consumption is changing, and I do think that those same machine learning techniques that have driven a change in content distribution, meaning the algorithm decides what you see on Facebook, are going to determine what influences you from an advertising perspective. I think this is great for almost everyone, unless you're sitting in a world where you have no technology to connect the right ad with the right consumer. Another thing we learned from the election is that popular votes aren't so effective anymore. Now, of course, I talk about the Electoral College in that sense. But in reality, what we find on Facebook and other social entities is that it's not the idea or brand that has the most mass appeal that wins. It's what has the most appeal to a small subgroup of consumers so that they retweet it, or they share it, or they engage with it in some way. We now have the ability for niche products or niche ideas to spread within a small community. You might call that a filter bubble, or you might call that personalization. In either case, what we're finding is that this idea of an algorithmic engagement, as opposed to an editorial engagement, where some editor says, this is what's on the front page of the Times today, is completely changing the way our world works. And I think we're going to see, just as we saw great scientists in the first Renaissance, we're going to see great artificial intelligence. Is Watson going to be the next Copernicus? I don't know. Or Cortana, or some other system. But at the same time, I think we'll also see the rebirth of human creativity. I think we'll see great intellectual and artistic works, maybe by you. This is an opportunity for us. And that really is the definition of Renaissance, to me. A moment where creativity can overcome all of these challenges of pre-built systems, of establishment entities. We're on the verge of a new world. Yesterday, Index and AppNexus announced that we will mutually support each other's server-to-server header bidding solutions. Now, this may not be obvious to some of you as to why it's so important. But if you go back to my thesis about how to make marketplaces better, this does a few things. One, it commoditizes basic ad tech. We're saying that these wrappers are now not special magical things. They're just basic pieces of infrastructure that allow interoperability across different companies. Second, by moving header bidding server-side, we actually solve a major user experience problem. We know that throwing a bunch of header calls into the browser makes it slower. Now we can do this on the server. And third, we allow unbiased and easy access to multiple partners. You're not going to get locked into a walled garden or even to a single ad tech vendor. If you want to switch, you just rip out some code and plug some more code in, but all of your economics and financial implications are effectively unchanged. This is a big deal. And I'm also excited to announce that PubMatic will also be doing mutual server-to-server header bidding with AppNexus in the upcoming weeks or months. We've committed to doing that with each other. I expect every major ad tech company to commit to full interoperability around server-to-server header bidding. It solves a major problem for the industry, and I think it lowers the bar for any publisher who's considering header bidding to open up their inventory and remove a critical dependence, I think, on DFP and Google. So very, very excited to see this happen, and I think we'll see more and more announcements like this as the year progresses. Second, I'm pleased to announce that AppNexus will now allow 100% viewable transactions. As I mentioned before, this is table stakes, I think, for a world where brands and marketers buy ads that people can see. This is a feature of the digital world. We can actually see the ads. When you buy ads on TV, we don't know if people are Rokuing or, delaying things until the next day or even seeing these ads. On the internet, we can find out what you're watching and viewing. And this is really important. We know this is a key currency. Only pay if an ad is viewable.